Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to rank all 6 seasons of Cobra Kai. And this list will be kind of controversial because whenever the final season of a show comes out, it's immediately put as like the best season, or like it's ranked as the best season, it's rated the best. Like, it's always the case where like the last couple episodes, they all get like 10 out of 10 on IMDb. And yeah, so let's get started, because I've been watching Cobra Kai since the very first time that it came out, and I have followed it probably longer than a lot of other people who followed it. And I'm not like bragging or anything, I'm just saying like the time that I've invested into the show has been a lot more. And I gotta say, too, for all the people, because there were a lot of people back in season 3, and they were saying, like, we don't need more Cobra Kai. Yeah, it's going on too long. It's being dragged out. Yeah. Well, now that you've seen the last 5 episodes, do you still think that the show was dragged on too long? Or have you finally waken up and seen the light and seen that, hey, TV shows are made to go on long. That's the whole point of a TV show, is that they go on for a long period of time so that you get that long character development over the course of years and seasons and episodes. So, let's get started. Number 6 is Cobra Kai, Season 6. Yes, sorry to say the last season of Cobra Kai, that's like a tongue twister. Sorry to say the last season of Cobra Kai, Season 6, is the worst season in my opinion, simply because it is so all over the place, it is so disjointed. The first 2 parts pale in comparison to the third part. The third part feels like a movie. It feels like you could just watch the last 5 episodes, pretty much get like all the emotional impact and payoff that you would have gotten if you had watched the rest of the show. You really don't want to watch the rest of the season because it's trash. Robbie is nerfed, and he's distracted by a girl the whole fucking season, and then he loses. Samantha, she's just completely shafted so that she can be like the object of distraction for the villain, and then she quits before she can fight her final fight. And really, I would say the season is Tori's season overall. If you look back, if you look in general, it's Johnny's season second, but it's Tori's season first. Because the whole season, the one consistent thread is Tori's story and her rise to getting this championship after tragedy strikes her in the first part of the show. Other than that, another reason why I think that this season is the worst is because this is one of those TV seasons where all the characters don't act like themselves. They act like, you know, they're going through something, and they're all at like their darkest moments, pretty much. And I think that, you know, those types of TV seasons, they can either be really, really good, or they can be really, really negative. And I think that this was one that was really negative, and it was not very well written. There was too much fat, there was too much fluff. The last 5 episodes was really damn good, though, and so that's what's sad, is that like the last 5 episodes like pulled off a miracle, because it made it so that the season went from being really bad to kind of okay. And if I went back to watch this season, I would probably skip through certain episodes and watch certain things and then just get straight to the last 5, because the rest of it is garbage. And I know that that sounds mean, especially since I started this video saying I'm a huge fan. But it's because I'm a huge fan that I'm able to like criticize it. I mean, you have to be able to criticize something that even if you really like it, because that's you being honest. Like, you can't just sit there and say like, oh, I'm a big Cobra Kai fan, so it's automatically really, really good. It's like, no. If it's really, really good, I'll say it's really, really good. So number 5 is Cobra Kai Season 3. This season also, follows some of the same beats as Season 6. It has the same type of thing where, the characters are in a dark place. But the big problem I have with Season 3 was that I thought it didn't go dark enough. And I thought that the season that we were promised to get after that amazing finale of Season 2, we were not delivered. We were given this very, very short, dark period that immediately turned comedic. And this is when the show started getting too comedic. And this really should have been Kreese's season, but honestly, I can hardly remember this season at all. I just remember that there's not really anything that I can remember that I enjoyed. I mean, I would challenge viewers who've seen my Cobra Kai reviews, can you remember a single thing worth mentioning that I enjoyed from Season 3, my review of that season? Because I don't think you can. I'm challenging you. So suck on that. Number 4 is Cobra Kai Season 4. Now, this season is kind of one that I can't really remember that well, but then I looked up stuff and I remembered, oh yeah, there's some really good stuff in there, like Chosen's in there a lot. Kumiko shows up, Ali shows up near the end, and wasn't this the season where Dimitri won over the hot mean girl? So that was pretty cool. On the other hand, this season was basically like a big lead up to Season 5. I mean, it was really all about that lead up to seeing the Terry Silver season, and that was another thing I loved was Terry Silver. But on the flip side, this is the Eagle Fang season, and Eagle Fang, I feel really bad for Eagle Fang because I don't think that dojo got the justice that it deserved. Like, even though it wasn't meant to be, Johnny was always meant to go back to Cobra Kai because Cobra Kai never dies. I wish that they had given Eagle Fang a little bit better, a payoff, because looking back, it almost kind of feels like a wasted season in some ways, just because of, Eagle Fang sucking so bad. And then it has probably one of the weakest episodes of the series, which is Kicks Get Chicks. That's a really weak episode. Number 3 is Cobra Kai Season 5. This season did what the first season did in that they said, let's focus on a villain. Let's make this whole show centered around a villain. The first season with Johnny, who, of course, he's not a real villain after all. But this season, Season 5, focuses all around Terry Silver, and he is what makes this season so good. There are so many bad things about it, like the too much focus on the kids, too goofy and comedic, Kenny saying Lapusso 1,000 fucking times and being just so annoying. Him and Anthony are so annoying together. But then at a certain point, it gets really, really good. And the way that they did a little twist on the original Karate Kid with Kenny and Anthony, and then Terry Silver, he makes the season. And honestly, the way that the season got really dark at the end in the finale when they had to do that sword fight at Terry's house, that was what I wanted in Season 3. I wanted something dark like that. I didn't just want this, what Season 3 did, where it was oh yeah, well, no, we're not going to get very dark. We're just going to pedal back from that. We're gonna pussy our ways out of that, we're gonna take the coward's way out of that storyline. But yeah, another thing I would also say is that Season 5 feels like the best, in terms of it feels more like a final season than Season 6. It feels a lot grander. It feels bigger. It feels so much more important than Season 6, because Season 6 is just a tournament. It's okay, if you don't really care about tournaments, then why would you even care about Season 6? Whereas Season 5, I mean, you got Terry Silver. He's opening up dojos all over the valley. He is a serious, serious problem in what he did with Cobra Kai. And I also would say, in terms of season 6, they never really addressed very well what happened to all those kids who were going to the different Cobra Kai dojos. Like, where did they go after that? What happened with them? Were there any interesting characters from there? Like, see, there were some storylines that they kind of, like, shafted or didn't even answer in overall. But, yeah. Number 2 is Cobra Kai Season 2. Looking back on these seasons, the reason why I put this season at number 2 is because it has all the best things that Season 1 has, except for Daniel is less of a villain. And I think that the thing that I loved about Season 1, which is my number 1, spoiler alert, is that I love the idea of a reluctant villain. And I love the idea of, like, reframing this classic movie to where the bad guy is the good guy and vice versa. I also think that the simplicity in both of these seasons really, really helped in terms of building motivations with these characters and really amping you up and making you excited with that build up to the finale in which all hell breaks loose. And I think that both the first and second season did that really well, whereas later seasons, they struggled to find balance with all these damn characters, like 1,000 fucking characters. And, yeah. The second season finale is definitely better than the first season's. I love that cover of Cruel Summer at the end. But season 1 just overall is so much better. It really is the best. And I look back at that season 1 and I go, wow, this is what the last 5 episodes of season 6 feel like. And if they had kept that energy the whole season, that would have been like at number 1 or 2. Because season 1, it just felt so special and so pure. It was the pure idea of, like, let's make the whole story all about Johnny bringing back Cobra Kai, but making it good, changing it. And, like, also you have all the comedy that they kind of ditched later on with, like, the woke stuff, the anti-woke stuff, and all the PC stuff, like, with Johnny, like, where he makes fun of kids and, like, he tells Miguel to throw away his inhaler, his asthma just goes away somehow, and, like, shit like that. Like, that's the stuff that we were missing in this show. That's the stuff that, like, really, really made it fantastic, because it felt like, wow, this show has balls. It's not going to be like it's not going to play it safe and play it like, so that it's for all the, what do they call the quadrants, the 4 quadrants, it's like the show wasn't afraid of trying to offend people. And I think that the first season, it had more of an adult feel to it. Whereas the second season, the third season, the 4th, 5th, 6th, they got a lot more kiddish, and they got a lot less, like, I don't know, like, I loved the earnestness of the first season, and I loved how fresh it felt. And I think that in order to keep that freshness through the series, they needed to do more fresh things, like what they did in season 5, where they did that twist on the Karate Kid story. But in season 6, it just felt like they're just doing everything you could expect them to do. It felt like fan fiction. It felt like, let's just see them fight. Let's see these guys fight. Let's see these guys fight. It didn't really feel like they had a story, one story that they built up really well through the season until the last 5. So yeah, seasons 1 and 2 are still the best. That is after I actually used to think the opposite. I used to think that seasons 4 and 5 were the best. But what happened was, since the show was, like, announced that it would end, I looked back and I thought, you know what? The show really doesn't feel like it used to. And there's a lot of shows where, they don't have that problem. Like Californication. Californication feels a lot like it did in the earlier seasons, even though season 4 was really, really dark. And they never really got that dark again. Well, actually, no, season 6. So, see? Like, Californication kept it all the way through. Let's see. King of the Hill, I think, kept it all the way through. The Office, of course, changed after Michael left, but it was still a good show until the last season. But yeah, like overall, like I think that the people who made Cobra Kai, they had a really great idea, a fresh new idea. They respected the characters. I loved the anti-PC humor in the show. I loved, I mean, it had a lot of great female characters too. I mean, for a show that was so not like Disney Star Wars, it had such better like female empowerment in the show. And I just think that that's so ironic, and what people don't realize is that like just because I'm criticizing like a Disney Star Wars thing doesn't mean it's because it has like female empowerment in it. Because then you go to Cobra Kai and you got Tori. You got fucking Tori. I mean, she is awesome. You got the Kim, the Sensei Kim. She was a really cool character too. You got Amanda LaRusso. She was awesome. She was like totally wifey material. That was the one big thing about season 1 for me. That was the one big thing that I was kind of on the edge about, was that I wasn't sure about Amanda as being Daniel's wife. I really wanted them to bring back Elizabeth Shue, but I don't really like Elizabeth Shue anymore, so whatever. But she had her time in the series at some point. I can't even remember what happened with her, by the way. Like, didn't she just come back and say hi and then leave or something? Like, what even happened with that? But yeah, I would also say in terms of best fights, this ranking would be a lot different, because like I would say like the later seasons had a lot better fights, had a lot more intense fights. At the same time, nothing beats that emotional payoff of like a good fight. Like, it doesn't have to be like the greatest choreographed if it has that emotional payoff and it has that like punch of like, you were waiting the whole season to see these characters fight, and it is so emotionally satisfying to finally see that. So yeah, overall, I love Cobra Kai. I could probably watch like seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again-ish. And then season 6 I would kind of have trouble with because that was bad. So anyways, please like this video and comment. How would you rank the Cobra Kai seasons? Do you agree that the show should have kind of... I think that like they should have had it to where every season was like a different villain season. So like season 3 should have been Kreese's season. Season 4 could have been Mike Barnes' season. Season 5, Terry's season. And then season 6, you have all the villains together as like the main villains. Like, that's what they should have done, because I think that if the show had gotten a lot more in-depth with some of the side characters and just each season like trim the fat. You don't have to focus on all these characters each season. Trim the fat and focus on that core story and the core characters like season 6 part 3 did. So please like this video. Oh yeah, I already said that. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews, because I will be ranking all the Cobra Kai characters pretty soon. Goodbye everybody. See you soon.